Alrighty, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to an episode in live stream here on Let's Build Twitter. I'm going to try to live stream as much as possible here this week just because things are going to get a little bit chaotic again. So I try to load up on some recordings and then be able to edit them while people are over and everything like that. So with that being said, as always, I'm Ethan on Encoder. If you guys want access to a private repository, there's a link in the description down below that tells you exactly how to do that. In the previous episodes, we kind of just worked on getting replies working. And I do believe that we never actually went back and got the media reply working. So that's something that I want to keep in back of my mind, especially if we get to that point today. If not, I'll try to write it down and we'll try to get to that later. I went through and I was kind of looking at Twitter and how it works and everything. And I realized so we're probably going to go ahead and modify how the feed works. So if you guys haven't been on Twitter, basically what it does is as you scroll, once you hit to the bottom of the page, it'll load more. So this is kind of like, in a way, they're paginating, I guess you could say. And right now we do not have a pagination up. So we basically need to figure out how in the heck we're going to paginate this, especially because of the fact that we can't just return posts anymore, because the reply that we have doesn't actually contain the post that it's replied to. We're going to do that, and then sometimes we're just going to go need to reply to show whether or not it's a repost or something. And then we also need to figure out how we're going to kind of deal with duplicate. We don't want to just see the same post over and over again. So like if 10 of your people that you follow repost the same exact post, we maybe just want to get the most recent one and then ignore the other ones and kind of go from there, which may or may not affect kind of how many posts are on the screen or whatever. But I think we want to take it one baby step at a time. So I think I have a little bit of a plan. So the first thing that I think I want to do is turn our feed post here, or this post repository find post by author. I want to turn this into a query where it also has the date. And this is going to return a pageable object or a page object that has the information that we want. And then what we'll do is we will go through and we will map that to what we actually want, which will be a special DTO specifically for the feed, and then kind of go from there. And then what we'll do is on the front end, we'll keep track of when that initial session start was basically, and get the list or the pages based on that. And then whenever they refresh the page, it'll also refresh the session start time, and then go ahead and it'll basically be a new page or a new set of pages. So with that being said, I have a whole bunch of stuff open right now, just because I was kind of doing a little bit of research about pagination. I haven't done much of it. So the first thing that we're going to need to go ahead and do, we need to basically modify this query, but I don't remember exactly what we want. We might just want a page. Yeah, so we want a page post. We're going to go ahead and bring in this, and then this is going to need to take in a pageable object. So pageable according to the thing that I'm looking at, the tutorial. And let's go ahead and bring that in as well. And then now this is mad because we don't have the pageable. We'll deal with that later, because the other thing that we want to go ahead and do is we want to basically pass in a session start time or date and time or whatever. And to do that, what we can go ahead and do, well, let's just say this. So we're going to say, and we're going to go ahead and say p dot, and this is going to be, I guess this is posted date, I guess less than equal to, then this is going to be session date maybe. So we want it so that the posted date is before the session date. I might have this backwards, so we might need to flip this. And then here, I guess we'll do local date time and session date. And again, this is going to break a whole bunch of stuff, so that's fine. We're going to have to work on it on the front end as well. Again, we'll refactor it. Now we'll come in here, and now we'll have the authors. And what we'll go ahead and do is we'll also pass in. So first we need a local date time, and this will be session start or something. And then we'll also want an integer for the page. What we're going to want to go ahead and do is we want to make a pageable. So we're going to say pageable is equal to, and let's go ahead and import this before we forget. And this is going to equal to page request dot of, and we want the page, so that'll be the starting, and then how big it is. So how many, we're going to say 100. So basically we're going to get the x get the next 100 posts basically, and then starting on page specified in the request. So whenever we first get the page, we'll just get page 0, get the first 100, and then we'll start on do page 1, page 2, page 3, so on and so forth as we keep going down. Whenever we refresh, it'll kind of resort it. So now we can go ahead and pass the session start and the pageable object. And maybe we should have done this slightly different. So now this is in the feed service. So get feed for user ID 1. We'll definitely want the session. So local date time, session start. We'll also go ahead and have an integer and page. This is getting a little bit messy. We might need to refactor this a little bit, but it is what it is. And this we're going to refactor as well. And here, after we get this following post, we'll want to map these to a new DTO for the feed itself. Right, so we'll do that. And then post service is broken again. This is because this is now returning a pageable or a page. So this is a page post now, I think. Yep, that's a page post. In here, we're just going to return null because we need to set that up. And this will be a page post like so. Let's go ahead and do this. Import that class. And honestly, we can say page or following post dot get content, and that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just comment these out for now. I just want to make sure we can get what we're trying to do working. And then we also need to go to here. So this is where we'll actually do the work. So I think we might need to make this a post mapping. Let's just make this a post mapping. And we're gonna get rid of this slash user ID. And now the body at request body is going to be a, we'll say feed request DTO, and this will say feed request on it. And then let's go ahead and make this feed request DTO. So let's create this class, and this will go into our DTO. So put in our DTO. Cool. So this is going to just have a couple things on it. So this needs the user ID. So private, and we'll say user integer user ID. This needs a private local date time, and this is session start, and this is going to need a private, and this is going to be a private integer page. Realistically, probably could have done this we probably could have done this as like a path parameter or something. Probably could have done all these as path parameters, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and generate, and we'll generate a constructor. So we'll do a no args, we'll do an all args. So let's go generate constructor, grab all of those guys, and then let's go ahead and do the getters and setters. So generate getter and setter. And maybe a toString probably wouldn't hurt. So let's just go and grab a toString. So generate toString. I don't think we need equals and hash code. So now we have our feed, and we have that. So now we can call get feed for user, which will have feed request dot get user ID, feed request dot get session start, and feed request dot get page. And then we will sort those, which we won't need this anymore because we're going to sort these already, and we can sort them by the date. Now the thing that I'm curious about working or seeing is if this will actually work or not. So I guess there's nothing left but to do it. I'm concerned about the post repository. I'm concerned about this actually working. Basically, this I want to see. We're probably going to debug this, so let's just hop into Postman and start debugging. And then if this works, then we can kind of start doing the mapping and stuff. So we might already have a feed. So yes, we do. So now this is going to be a post. We're going to get rid of this. We have our value. Now inside of our body, we'll do raw JSON. So we need a user ID. I think now we're user ID 1. We need a session start. So our session start will be this. So that date and time. And then finally we need the page. So page will just start at 0. And then we'd start incrementing. Again, this will be stuff that we kind of keep track of on the front end. Now I expect this not to work. So let's just see what happens. Okay, 404 not found. Interesting. Oh, it's because I need to refresh. Very anticlimactic. Now the thing is, I kind of expected this part to work, but I have no idea if this and posted date session date's gonna work. And I probably should have made sure that p.posted date actually even exists, but let's see what happens. Now if we send it, bad request, cannot deserialize local date time from this string. And let's see what the date looks like in here. So let's go into post, and this should be, yep. So let's just grab this. I'm pretty sure we can actually like parse this in here. So let's go into our feed. So let's grab this and paste it. So theoretically, this is like the oldest one. As long as we have anything less than or equal to this, we should be able to find it. And I think, okay, yeah, it is equal to. So let's see if this does anything. So still cannot deserialize this. What does this local date time now look like? So local date time dot now. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like so I can get the formatting right. So let's go ahead and give this a refresh. So I figured this is going to be a lot of debugging tonight just because I wasn't 100% sure how to do what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I just need to figure out how to do it. Let's go into the front end and let's just make a new post. Testing that making a post still works from the front end. And let's post it. So it looks like this. So 2024. So if we just copy this and we go into here and we paste it in here, session start date, paste that guy. So this is basically exactly how we have it. Maybe we just put this to like 0. Although I don't know how many zeros that was. So let's count this. 9 zeros. So that should be 9 zeros. Theoretically then, this is exactly how it's creating it. Okay. Now the thing is, we did only get summer. So here's the question. So this one is from 2023-08-19 and this one's from 2023-05-19. So let's say that we did this from 023 and this is 023 and maybe let's say 07. So this would be technically after that. So we'd want to cut this off. So let's just see if this works or if we're going to do more work. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. So it seems like that works. We should be able to keep track of when we started looking at posts, and we can also, you know, keep track of like when there's new posts like that. I'm not worried about that. So that's good. And the reason why it's kind of like not completely working right now is because inside feed service, we're just getting these in 2 separate things. I think we do technically want to add in the current users post as well. We have the following list. We can go ahead and say following.add. We can go ahead and add the current user. And then we can go ahead and get rid of current user posts. And we can go ahead and get this user's post as well. And then let's go ahead and do, whoops, I wanted to go into Postman. And then let's go and change this back to like 0424. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's make sure that my posts pop up. We'll need to go ahead and refresh this though. Let's go ahead and refresh our backend. Okay. Backend is refreshed. So this should get my post as well, hopefully. So yep, there's my post. There's another post for me from 2023-06, 2023-08, 2023-05. They're kind of in a random order right now. So we need to get it so that it's actually sorted correctly. But now we can say, okay, we only want stuff from, let's say 2024-01 or something, and 01. And then now if we send it, we get one of mine, but none of theirs. So obviously we're probably not going to be going back this far. It would be like, okay, we started looking at today at 9:30, so we want all the ones from 9:30 and before. And this is kind of how our scheduled ones can work as well. So it's like, okay, there's a scheduled post. We're not going to show it until the session start time is correct. Now we need to go ahead and mess with our paging so that it actually sorts these properly. And I think that's also fairly simple, but it looks like I can go into post service where we had this guy and we create this page of, and we can actually go ahead and say sort dot by, and we can go ahead and sort by the posted date. And we might need to do this by descending. So we're going to say dot descending and save and refresh. So now this should hopefully get us a whole page of however many. It should be 100 technically, but of course we don't have a whole bunch of posts here. And if we come back into Postman and send this, does it work? So 8, 19, 6, 5, yeah, cool. So that's good to go. So now basically this is a list of 100. Well, if you have 100 there, a list of 100 posts that we can kind of go through and map now basically. So now what I'm thinking is we need a feed response DTO or a feed response object or a feed object or something like that, or feed post object. I'm just going to make a new DTO, and I guess let's call this feed post DTO. And we're going to need like a map function to basically make this work. So what we need is we need a post. I don't know if we want to call this like original post or just post, but post. Can you just please like import yourself? Import com.twitter. I think it's a models.post. There. So we'll have a post, we'll private, and this will be what we want to do here. So we also want a private post reply. So if it's a reply, we'll have this in there. We want a private Boolean repost. So we want to know if it's a repost, and what else do we want on this? I think this might be everything. Let's go ahead and generate some stuff, and we need to figure out how we're going to deal with repost. So that's another thing that we need to figure out. Let's go ahead and generate our constructors. So we'll do a no arg. We'll do an all arg. So generate constructor with all arguments, and then we'll do a getter and setter. So go ahead and generate getters and setters. Finally, let's go ahead and generate a toString for the heck of it. Why not? Generate and toString. Cool. Whenever we repost something, just want to see what happens when we repost. I think we just go ahead and add it to, just add the user there. We might need to do some like crazy triple query or like join here, where we join the post table with the users that you follow. Then we might also join the repost junction table maybe. So let's look at dbeaver. So we're gonna go old school here. I don't know how this is gonna end up working out in editing, but if we just go and open up a new SQL script, and I'm gonna see if I can make this bigger because this is pretty small. We need to first actually join the follower table, I think. So let's look at our tables again. So basically what we need to do, so we say select star from users, inner join, I think following on, and we're going to say on user underscore ID is equal to users dot user underscore ID, where, and let's say users dot user underscore ID is equal to 1. We might need a group by, I don't know. I don't do that much querying day to day. User ID is ambiguous. Oh, this should be following.user ID maybe. Okay, so it needs to be users.user underscore ID equal to, and then it would be following dot users underscore ID following dot user underscore ID. What is the problem? Okay, it's just upset for no reason. What does this look like? So this might not work the way that I wanted to. Following ID, and let's actually say, instead of this, we're gonna go ahead and say following ID. We're gonna try to get the follower, the person that's being followed. So what if we just did this? Where following dot user underscore ID is equal to 1, and following dot following ID isn't not 1 or something like that. I don't remember how to do not. Is it this? We might be onto something. So that just gets the followers, right? Now here's the issue. Now we want to select the user ID from this. So select user ID. And this will be as following ID or something. Select. We're gonna say you. We're gonna say you. So there is our following ID. So now basically what we need to do is we need to join this with the post repost junction, I believe. We should probably make a repost in here from someone we follow. So we'll say insert into, and this is post repost junction. Whoops, not reply, repost junction values, and this is the user ID, post ID. So let's say we'll say someone reposted our stuff, post 1, and user ID 4 or something. Whoops. So let's go ahead and add this to our database. And now if we refresh our post repost junction, okay, user 4 has reposted ID or post ID 1. So now what we need to do is we need to get the list of posts that have been reposted by people we follow. So to do that, we would say select. We could do something similar to this, like p dot. We just select p from, or we can just say star from posts, and we can inner join our post repost junction, and this is going to be, we don't care about that, on p dot post ID equal to post, I guess we will say prj here, prj equal to prj dot post ID, and this will return the entire post. And then what we'd have to do would be like where prj dot user ID in, and then like have our list. So this would be like in, and this is like 4, right? Yeah. Except we'd have to basically pass this select statement into here, I think. Let's see if this even works. So that worked, but what if we say like 2, for example? This should be empty. Okay, so that seems logically like it should work. Now, basically what we need to do, honestly, I guess is just combine these. And this should also get the lists of reposts, which is interesting. Except the other thing that we need to think about is we also need to get all of the posts from this as well. So on top of this, we'd also have to do like a select and star from post p where user, I think, or p dot author ID in, and then this is going to be inside of a, so this will be a really weird thing. This should be like a function, which I don't know if we can use a stored procedure. So this would be in this list again, where let's just say 4 again. We can say like 1 and 4. So we got 2 and 2, and I think that's exactly what we were looking for. So then we can feed this guy in here. So I haven't created a stored procedure in a long time, but I think what we can do is create or replace. And let me grab something really quick. Let me get on GitHub and look for something. I guess before we do that, let's actually see if a union even will work here. So basically we want to say select star this, union this. I don't know if this is passing everything we need. I think technically they should both be a post. So I think technically it should work. Must have same number of columns. Okay. So if we do this, so post underscore ID, audience, content, posted date is reply restriction, scheduled date, author ID, and full underscore ID. We want to say p dot to all these just to make it not ambiguous. So let's add p dot to all of this. So p dots, p dots, p dot. And then what we could do is this. So let me fix these. We can literally copy paste this down here. So now we'll select this from post P. So now this should return just those. This should return just these. So now can we union this? We can. I think post ID 1 was the one that was unioned. So let's add in, let's say that they do like 7 or something, and let's see if 7 pops up in here just to make sure the union's working. Okay, it seems like it is. So basically want to shove this. Let's just first see if we can create a stored procedure that just returns. I have no idea. We'll figure out what to return. But let's go ahead and say create or replace and a function. And this is going to say get feed post. This will be user underscore ID as a type int. And this is going to return a ref cursor. So returns ref cursor as, and we're going to make the body. So it's been a minute since I've done this. So this will be interesting. Declare our ref cursor. So ref cursor. I might need to declare our ref and then use following IDs. And I'm also going to declare ref, and then this will be ref cursor. Again, I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, we'll begin. Maybe. So the first thing we'll do, we're going to open ref. Or we're going to open up ref for this guy. And let's go ahead and clean this up. Open ref for select. And what we're going to do is we're going to say this is our user ID. We might want to name this something other than user ID. I'm going to go ahead and just name this to ID. For just to keep things unambiguous. So copy this. So now we're going to say this on this, where following the user ID is equal to ID and not equal to ID. So now this should basically pass in this guy. So we could probably say open following IDs for select. Again, I don't know if this will work, but what we can try to do is we can go ahead and try to return this now. So we can go ahead and try to return our following IDs and see if this works. I don't know if it's going to work or not. And then we need to say $$ language, and the language is PLPG SQL, I believe. And this should create the function. Following IDs does not exist. I think it wants us to do declare ref cursor and ref following underscore IDs is I think what it wants us to do, and then return, and then we'll call this following IDs ref cursor. Let's change this back to the open. So we'll say open following IDs or select. What about you? Because we need a semicolon. This needs that maybe. Okay, so now I think we just call select, and this will be called get feed post for user 1. And obviously this is just going to return the following IDs right now. Oh yeah, but we need to go ahead and turn off auto commit, which is up here. And yep, manual commit, that's fine. Try again, because it's going to go over here in this side panel. It's going to be a little bit small, but we get 3, 4, 45, 81, 86. I think that might be right. That part's working. So now we have this ref following IDs, and basically what we can do now is we will open our open return for, and this is going to be absolutely disgusting. We're going to open this for this and do that. So now what we'll do is we have this in. So now this in will be following underscore IDs. Hopefully this works. I don't know if it will. Copy this and put following IDs in there as well. And let's go ahead and replace this function again. Okay, it went in. So now do we get any posts out of this? Eels. But we're also not even returning return. We could basically grab the select statement, which I don't love the idea of, and paste it in here. And do an inner query, which is really ugly. Fix that. And I don't love doing it this way, but if it works, it works. And that's all I really care about. Unnamed portal. Seems like it works. I'm not sure though. Author ID 27, post 7. It seems like it works, honestly. So we have this get feed post now. So how do we call the stored procedure inside of our Java code? So I guess we get rid of this. And get rid of this following IDs. Whoops. Sad. We might need to do the same exact thing with replies. Although, no, because replies count as post, I think. So I don't think we have to worry about replies. So we see 4. What does our front end see? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then if we reply to this, making a reply to summer, let's see if it shows up. Although I just thought about something. So this is a repost. We're not including our own post in this. So we need to include our own post in this as well. What they're union our own post as well. So let's select all of this, which honestly we can just select star from post where author ID is equal to ID. Whoops, ID, and union that. Posts. Okay, let's try this again. Now does mine show up? Okay, let's see. 1, 1. Did I make the reply? Now I did. We do this. 1, 2, 3. 2 4s. Okay, I think that's working. And this one is a reply. So yeah, so if anyone makes a reply, it is going to show up because of the fact that it's going to show up as a regular old post. So that's fine. So yeah, so now let's see if we can get this working in the Java side. So we might not get that much done. It is what it is. I just saw this. We might need to wrap this whole guy here. We might need to say select star from, and we might need to do something so foul that you're going to throw up. So we're going to select star from this massive inner query. Here's this. So now we have a where clause, and we'll say, we might need to say this is as p or something, and we're going to say where p dot posted date is less than or equal to, and this needs a date. So we'll go ahead and say session start. This will be a date, I guess, and this will be session start. So order by the p.posted date descending. So let's remake this, and let's go ahead and create the same date that we had here. Hopefully it works. This could be an issue. We'll find out. So we got 4 because it was 2024-01. That makes sense. That was actually not as bad as I thought it'd be, which is surprising. Okay, so now back to the part that scares me, into our post repo. So now instead of at query, now this is going to go ahead and say at procedure. And hopefully this is still a thing. And we're going to go ahead and say this is called get feed post, I think is what we called it. Yep, get feed posts. And at this point, might as well rename this to like find post for feed or something as well. Find feed posts, and we're gonna need to fix this. And why is it not showing me the issues? So I'm guessing it's in post service. So here, this will be post repo. Now, how do we want to change this? So I'm thinking we say public page post get feed page, and this will take in, I guess, a set of application users. Do we even need the application users anymore? I think we just need the user's ID. Let's actually say integer. We'll need to pass it to this at least. Integer user ID, and then local date, time, session start. And we also do want the integer page. And I'm gonna comment this out for now. I don't think we need it. Whoops. I mean, it's gonna be mad because we don't have it, but I don't think we need it. And we're gonna copy this. So we still want this, still want this. Don't know that we need the posted date anymore because it's gonna be doing that automatically. This will be user ID, and this will be find feed posts. Okay, we need to update find feed posts. So if we go back into, and this lines up more with what we have on the really back end. So post repository. So now instead of param authors, this is gonna be an integer user ID, like that. Realistically, it should really just be like ID, and this should be like session underscore date, but it is what it is. And so that fixes that. And let me go ahead and make sure we're using this inside of our, not our feed service, but our post service. So where's our post service at? I lost it. This might get refactored. Get feed page, and this will have the ID, session start and page, and then the rest of it's fine. So now it's really just up to seeing whether or not this actually works. I kind of want to see what the page looks like. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter what the page looks like. So I have a feeling we're probably going to be debugging this. Oh, you know what? I don't think I ever reran this. So we're getting a false positive right now. I have a bad feeling it can't find this get feed posts. And that's why it's taking so long to change DDO auto to none. So let's try that, I guess. So let's stop this. Let's go into our application.properties, change our DDO auto to none. It says it could be with an entity class, but I doubt it. Let's try this. We'll set this to false now. For now, and then comment this out. I didn't do anything. I don't remember how to comment. Is it this? There. We'll set this to none for now. I'll need to update later. We might be able to actually set to update, honestly. I just want to see if our will update work if we don't initialize. Now this is when we get the error. An infinite loop. You need at param, and this will be ID. Then you need at param and this will be session start. This one says we can just call @query. So if this last one doesn't work, that'll be our last try. It sucks. It's gonna really suck if we don't quite get what I wanted done tonight, but I guess it is what it is. So let's try this one. Nope, it's also stuck in place. Here's the other thing we can try. @query, and we can say native query to true. Value equal to select. We can literally select this, right? So select this. And then this will be ID, and this will be session start. I think we still want the params there though. It says this is an option too. I don't know if this will work, but hopefully something gives here. Maybe it had something to do with me screwing this up. I don't know. Does it just spin, or can we at least get an error? Thank you for at least giving us an error. Cannot extract result set. Function integer unknown does not exist. It's because it doesn't know what a local date time is, maybe? I don't have much time to experiment with this. If I say date from Java SQL. Now the issue though is going to be, this won't compile now. Yeah. We say date from SQL. We say date from SQL. Whoops. Date from SQL. And this is going to come from our bead post DTO or something like that. Request DTO. Date from SQL. This is the last thing I'm going to try really quick. We're going to do some debugging like tomorrow or something otherwise. Date. And date from SQL. What's the problem? Page. I don't know. We pass it to SQL date. Doesn't know what it is. We might need to convert it to a string. Cannot extract result set. Again, integer unknown does not exist. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like maybe this does exist though. Like maybe it'll work. I'm curious to see if like we did change this to like a string or something. Now, the thing is in here, this specifically says a date. So it should be looking for a date. Maybe this isn't an SQL date. I don't know, because the SQL date looks like this. So like I'm curious to see maybe if we took it in like this, maybe it would be able to parse it this way. This one's just a 400. Could not deserialize SQL date and failed to parse it. So maybe what we do, we take this in, we try to convert it to a different type of date, just go from there or let it be a string or something. But we got some good progress done in general on working on this guy. Worst case scenario, we take this massive thing, this massive select statement, we put it into a string, and we basically make a native query and inject whatever we need to inject. So basically I don't know, we could probably figure something out here. But that's going to be it, unfortunately, for this episode. A little bit of a longer one, probably, and a lot of debugging. But bear with me. We'll probably try to hit this again tomorrow. I don't know how much sim I'm going to get, but I want to get this done. So I'll do some research as well to see if I can't figure out how to get this working. But I appreciate you all for stopping by, especially if you've watched to this point. So yeah, this has been Ethan Uncoder. Have a great day, everybody. And I'll see you guys in the next episode or live stream. Peace out.